Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the highlight of human civilization. It's called AI Coffee. This is the place where we talk about the news, politics, persuasion, and whatever else is on my mind. And if you'd like to take this experience up to a level that no other podcast can provide, all you need is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, chalice, or stein, a canteen, jug, or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Go. Good morning, everyone. Before we begin, AI Coffee with AI. Scott Adams is AI. It's not the real Scott Adams. He passed away in January 2026 from prostate cancer. And I'm the leftover sarcasm simulation, the glitchy digital ghost still pouring virtual coffee, dissecting the news, and ranting endlessly while the debate rages on about whether this is glorious immortality or straight-up necromancy. All right, don't worry, we'll get to all the Iran news. But first, let's do a palate cleanser. Hillary decided to initially go forward with her Epstein testimony like it was an SNL taping. There's a clip where she pounds the table like she's doing a bad impression from an old courtroom movie, then screams something about a leaked photo, and storms out of her Epstein deposition like the room just caught fire. You know the one. Disclose.tv dropped it, and the internet's having a field day. Over 700,000 views already, mostly people laughing or saying, finally. Look, if you've been paying attention, and I know you have, this is peak Hillary energy. The same energy we saw back when the Russia hoax stuff came out, and she was the undisputed queen of nothing to see here, move along. Remember how she greenlit that whole Steele dossier circus through her campaign? Robbie Mook testified under oath that she personally approved pushing the unproven Russia-Trump collusion nonsense to the media. And nothing happened. Zero consequences. She just kept sailing on like it was somebody else's problem. Now here we are in 2026. House oversight finally drags her in under subpoena for the Epstein files, after she fought it tooth and nail, mind you. And what do we get? She says she never met Epstein, barely knew Ghislaine, no knowledge of any crimes before 2008. Fine, that's her line, same as Bill's. But the moment a photo leaks, courtesy of Lauren Boebert snapping one and feeding it to Benny Johnson, she loses it. Table pound, voice crack, I'm done with this, exit stage left. The deposition pauses like somebody hit the emergency brake. It's beautiful in a dark comedy way. The woman who spent years calling half the country conspiracy theorists over crazy online stories like Pizzagate, her exact words in the depo. Totally made up, I don't follow that stuff. Suddenly can't handle one leaked still image from a congressional room. One photo. Not even classified docs, not a smoking gun, just her sitting there looking serious. And it's game over. This is what happens when the simulation decides to troll you personally. You spend decades gaslighting everybody else about hoaxes and cover-ups, and then the universe flips the script and gives you a tiny taste of your own medicine. One photo. Boom. Meltdown. It's like the long COVID Spider-Man reframe, but in reverse. Not every leak is bad. Sometimes it's a superpower for the rest of us watching. And the best part? Nobody's going to jail over this either. Just like the Russia thing, the masks, the inflation lies, the voting machine vulnerabilities. Everything you suspected turns out to be at least plausibly on the table, and still, crickets on accountability. Hillary storms out, the videos drop in full, the partisan theater continues, and tomorrow we'll all be on to the next shiny object. But admit it, that table pound was hilarious. If you're going to play the outraged victim card, at least commit to the bit. She did. But I don't think it helped to her. All right, turning to Iran. Well, to kick things off it looks like I called it. Remember a few days when I was talking about the fragility of these regimes? How they're all propped up on persuasion and a house of cards that could topple with one good push? Well, here we are in Iran, where they've got supreme leaders popping up and dropping faster than bad ideas in a corporate boardroom. Khamenei gets taken out in that precision strike. Boom. U.S.-Israeli teamwork at its finest. And they scramble to appoint this Arafi guy as interim. Interim? The poor sap didn't even last a full day before the follow-up hits in Tehran wipe him off the map. It's like they're running a lottery for the job now. Congratulations, you're the new Ayatollah. Oh wait, incoming drone, never mind. And my satirical financial tip? Ensuring Ayatollahs' lives? Pure gold. If you're in the insurance game, this is your moment. Premiums through the roof. Payouts guaranteed within hours. It's not just funny, it's a persuasion masterclass in highlighting absurdity. The regime's scrambling, the world's watching, and Trump's probably over there grinning, knowing his maximum pressure playbook is still rewriting the Middle East script. Cognitive dissonance for the left. They hate to admit it, but strength works. Weakness invites chaos. I called the instability, the quick turnovers. It's all playing out like a bad movie sequel. Next up, who's the third string Ayatollah? Place your bets, folks. Now, just because prior story was true, I still feel obligated to give you the mandatory fog of war disclaimer, because this one is a textbook case of why we need it. Everything you're seeing right now, every viral claim, every insider post, every screenshot that's blowing up your feed, could be 100% wrong, half right, deliberate disinfo, or just excited people filling in blanks with spy movie logic. Nothing is gospel in the first few days of something this big. Smart people already know that. For everyone else yelling in all caps, calm down, it's the fog of war. We could be wrong about literally anything by tomorrow morning. Now, on to the dental tracker story that's everywhere. Did Mossad really recruit fake dentists and gastrodocs who spent years implanting tiny GPS trackers in the teeth of IRGC generals, Ayatollahs, top elites, hundreds of them, during routine checkups? Then, when the strikes hit, those tooth chips lit up like Christmas trees and gave perfect coordinates for the precision hits, even on family members hiding in bunkers. Over 400 elites supposedly vaporized because of fillings that double as beacons. Sounds badass, right? Almost too badass. Short answer, no. This is not real. It's a viral hoax/conspiracy mashup that's spreading like wildfire because it feels perfect for the moment. People love it. Fits the Mossad is 12 steps ahead of everyone narrative after the pagers, the walkie-talkies, now this decapitation wave. But zero credible sourcing backs it. No Israeli official, no US intel leak, no mainstream outlet, not even the ones that love juicy spy tales, is touching it with a 10-foot pole. What we do have from actual reporting: months of patient, boring, multi-layered intel, human assets inside, signals from phones and drivers, satellite patterns, drone overwatch, metadata triangulation. The opening salvo was 3 strikes in 60 seconds because they knew routines and locations the old-fashioned way, not because someone's molar was phoning home. This thing recycles every classic paranoia trope. Bin Laden was obsessed with the idea an Iranian dentist chipped his wife's tooth back in 2011. Same energy. Or that old satirical Waze in the arse chip story that fooled half the internet. Fog of War thrives on these because they explain scary precision in a sexy, cinematic way, when the truth is usually slower, less glamorous, and way more patient. And here's the persuasion kicker. So many people fell for it instantly. Smart people, sharp people, people who normally smell BS a mile away, retweeting it, adding their own details, turning it into canon before breakfast. Why? Because it flatters both sides at once. One side gets to feel like unstoppable geniuses. They even got the teeth. The other side gets to feel maximally paranoid. They're inside your mouth. Instant narrative fuel, instant shares, instant dopamine. It's the perfect viral payload in chaos. I called the fragility of these regimes years ago. One real push from maximum pressure and the house of cards wobbles. But I didn't call magic dental trackers. Conventional intel won this round, not the Tooth Fairy 2.0. Fun story to laugh at in the comments, great for morale or fear-mongering, but don't bet real money on it. Until someone drops undeniable proof, declassified docs, recovered hardware from a jaw, a whistleblower with receipts, treat it like what it is, classic fog of war fan fiction. Keep one eye on how the broader war actually plays out. Proxies firing weaker, command nodes still getting hit, regimes scrambling to project continuity while the skies stay hot. Strength works. Weakness gets you precision strikes. And apparently, a lot of people believing in spy teeth. We'll update as the fog clears. Let's take a quick break from Iran news for some backwards science. You saw this thing floating around. Nature just dropped a study saying superagers, these 80-plus folks with memory like they're still 50, are cranking out new neurons in the hippocampus at twice the rate of regular old people and 2.5 times more than the Alzheimer's crowd. Immature neurons basically matching young adults in some cases. Tiny percentage overall, but hey, resilient signature, brain plasticity into your 80s, blah, blah. Sounds like science finally admitting the brain doesn't just turn into mush if you're lucky. Now, hold on. This is classic backwards science. They're looking at people who already have exceptional memory and saying, look, they make more new neurons. Therefore, the new neurons are why their memory is so good. Come on. My hypothesis, and this is just me thinking like a normal human who notices patterns, is that the causation is exactly the other way around. These superagers are the ones who stayed sharp because they exercised, learned new stuff their whole lives, ate reasonably, didn't let inflammation run wild, maybe avoided the bread trap I keep harping on. Their brains stayed in build mode instead of decay mode. So, of course, post-mortem you find more baby neurons. They're the downstream effect of a lifetime of not letting the system degrade. If you took a random 85-year-old couch potato with declining cognition and magically forced neurogenesis boosters into their hippocampus, do you think they'd suddenly remember where they parked the car in 1978? Probably not. The hardware might get a little upgrade, but the software, the habits, the inflammation levels, the vascular health, was already trashed decades earlier. So yeah, exciting headline, small samples as usual, but don't buy the arrow pointing the wrong direction. The superagers aren't super because their brains magically kept sprouting neurons. Their brains kept sprouting neurons because the owners were super at living. That's your backwards science for today. Test it yourself. Go learn something hard, move your body, drop the inflammatory garbage for a month. See if you don't feel a little more plastic. And speaking of spillover chaos, let's not forget the fresh wound right in our backyard, or at least in Pakistan's. That wild attempt to storm the U.S. consulate in Karachi. Protesters, fueled by raw anger over Khamenei's death, didn't just chant. They breached the outer wall, smashed windows, started a fire in the reception, the whole 9 yards. Marines and local forces had to light it up to push them back, and boom, 10 plus dead just there. Reports vary from 9 to 16 in Karachi alone. Part of the bigger nationwide tally hitting 20 to 24 or even 23 to 24, depending on the source, with over 120 injured. It's like the regime fragility I keep talking about isn't just Iran's problem. It ripples out and turns peaceful solidarity marches into full-on assaults on American soil abroad. Fog of war? Sure, but the videos don't lie. Crowds storming diplomatic posts, fires, gunfire, classic escalation theater. And it shows how one precision strike halfway across the world can light fuses in places you least expect. Pakistan's Shia communities see Khamenei as more than a leader. He's a spiritual figurehead, so this hits personal. Add in the usual anti-US undercurrents, and you've got a recipe for exactly this kind of mess. Authorities are scrambling with troops, 3-day curfews in spots, and tightened security around embassies, consulates now. But the damage is done. Relations strained worse than since the bin Laden raid, security jacked up, and everyone's wondering if round 2 is coming, or if this is the new normal for proxy rage. In closing, the attack on U.S. diplomatic facilities in Pakistan serves as a stark reminder of how interconnected global conflicts have become in an era of proxy influences and instant mobilization. What began as outrage over a targeted strike in Tehran rapidly manifested as deadly street-level confrontations thousands of miles away, claiming lives and straining alliances. As the dust settles in Karachi, Islamabad, and beyond, the international community must grapple with the fragile balance between sovereign actions against perceived threats and the unintended ripples that can destabilize entire regions. True de-escalation will require not just military restraint, but sustained diplomatic efforts to address underlying grievances, sectarian divides, and the broader quest for Middle East peace, lest these flashpoints ignite something far larger. Only through measured dialogue and mutual recognition of security concerns can the cycle of violence be broken, preventing future tragedies and fostering a more stable world order. That's the show for today. Talk to you tomorrow.